Is your Roblox dull and crappy? Try an alt to make you happy. No more waiting, no more Roblox. Search on Google alt for Roblox. Except it's not quite as simple as that. Search for alternatives and you are greeted with sites that don't even know what they're talking about. So I will show you. Today we're playing Roblox alternatives and ranking them on a tier list. We start with Rec Room. It's like Roblox, but take away the blocks and add more metaverse slop. We are met with avatar customizations, which are strangely limited, but quite fine. Then we ran into the first problem. It struggled to load. We were waiting for about 3 minutes before it loaded into something. Then you are thrown into a tutorial.
Welcome to Rec Room.
After showing us the basic controls and what literally looks like an Apple Watch, we made a bridge. Close enough. Welcome back, Fortnite. Also, this button is just... what is that? Huh? Oh.
Oh.
But here was our second hurdle. Nothing was loading. Like actually, the cards were empty. I genuinely thought I did something wrong, but I was in fact connected to the internet because of the simple fact that I was in a Discord call. Oh, and other players were there too. Resetting didn't work, so I gave it a week. Then well... And now that it did, we can finally see what random crap they have, like Survive Hourglass. It looks like a mix of Mickey Mouse and Labubu. This is weirdly terrifying. Just like Roblox, Rec Room has its own Game Pass system called Keys. It is literally Roblox coded. Someone said my name, by the way. I don't quite like that. In another game called Drop Party, they were using Super Bomb Survival soundtracks. Seriously. I'm giving this a C for creative enough, but not quite. Next is Spawn.co. This one is strange because, well, it looks like a store, but every thumbnail seems to be AI generated. That's because they are. At least, most of them are. The pitch of this game is to create your own game with words, basically asking AI to do it for you. Can you guess what happens to the game when no human is checking it? A lot of broken things. This top game supposedly has 16 players in it, but only 4 of them are moving. What are these guys doing? They're just there.
You got just 3 more kills.
Random bots? Who knows? The games are very unpolished, as if they escaped from the Shenzhen factory production zone. Look at this literal bare bones gameplay. Just play Papa's Burgeria, and that game was from 2010. But I'd say that the biggest problem is actually the community. This chat is littered with one of the worst slurs you can ever say, which tracks because AI-loving people are genuinely the worst kind of people you will ever meet. I will award you the first F for today. F for forking slop. An interesting thing about Roblox alternatives is that many of them are also Minecraft alternatives. Hooray! And this is one of them, BlockStarPlanet. It has customization, and here's a reassuring statement: play safe. Concerning. Entering the game, it looks a little bit like if Fortnite and Pixel Gun 3D had a baby. You can parkour. Just be prepared for the very wonky physics and quite genuinely confusing layouts. They're all like staring at me.
The ground looks like amethyst from Minecraft. Yeah.
Oh, wait, there's a key, I think.
Low key.
Oh, is that job even possible? Mining. Why play Minecraft or insert mining game here when you can, let a miniature robot do it for you? The layout is quite low quality as it doesn't look like someone put effort into it. And I don't know what this one is. Random paw blocks. Are we in an episode of Paw Patrol? I don't think so. Paw Patrol will be there on the double. Battle. The controls on this one are really bad. Took me like a couple of minutes to figure out, but once I did, I started winning and everyone left. Oh, they all left. I'm the only one here now.
You outplayed them.
End of story. Skill issue for y'all. Lastly, world creator. And oh dear, if you touch Roblox Studio or even spectate modes of multiple games, you'll start to question what they're even doing. Like, what's this globe thing and then tape thing? Why not copy Minecraft's control scheme? It's so difficult to move around, and as much as I like seeing Sonic with a bad haircut, this is just... no. I'm putting this on the D tier. Don't like playing it. Luanti. So this is really more of a Minecraft project than a Roblox one, but it has modded gameplay, so this also technically counts. Subway Miners, an inspired Subway Surfers game with some odd music. Oh, this music. Oh, yeah, this one deserves better music. It is quite buggy, as you can tell from this scene where I fly and then clip inside one of the trains before dying. But I can't be too harsh on it. It's probably like someone's solo project. Still weird, but They got backrooms in here too, but it doesn't really have any entities. It is a bit confusing for me because I'm not much into backrooms. I will say that it is still pretty uncanny, and I feel pretty lost in it, so I think it's doing its job. Jail escape. Yeah, I've seen Roblox games that do this concept fairly well. This was a bit of a downgrade, with practically zero challenge. And how do you know if you have escaped? Yep, you just fall off the void. Beautiful. They also have a port of a game called Pran. As far as I can tell, this came from an Atomic Shrimp video, and I think it's delightful how retro it is. Eat food, avoid trucks and entities while filling yourself up with food. However, I feel like it's still missing some flair, and so I'm giving it a C. Second Life sounds very dystopian, and indeed, it looks dystopian. First impression isn't good, it was quite laggy, and the controls are the weirdest I've seen. I could only figure out how to fly like Superman. I was warned that it's going to be difficult for first timers. I heeded that warning, and I'm still floored by these controls. This is not good. There are some places to explore in here, but they're not the best of quality. Some are interesting, some are okay. At this point, I'm begging you, just play Grand Theft Auto instead of this. I'll give it a D for dystopian. No one on the list has received a B or above yet, but I promise it's going to be way better. Now it's time for Gmod. Yeah, Garry's mod, to the shock of probably everyone, is something that I have heard of using the same engine as my childhood games, but I haven't played it before. So what is my childhood other than Flash games, Left 4 Dead, Counter-Strike 1.6, and Call of Duty 4? You can just about tell that it's my first time playing this one. So I needed help from friends to enjoy and understand more of this game. Yeah, I'm not actually sure what's happening here. Gabby did say that this game is best enjoyed with mods, and I think I low-key need more time to explore more of them, but I like what I see. I do think that this is probably difficult for someone who has zero experience with a similar genre, which is most of the Roblox players. Just for that reason, I can't actually give it an S, even though I would personally. Despite that, it means that this will be the first game to receive an A ranking. A for awesome. Trove. This was in many lists of Roblox alternatives, so this made it on the list. However, it's not really Roblox in a way, it's kind of more similar to the structure of Genshin Impact. Perhaps not the best example right there, so I'm sorry. There are biomes to explore, as well as structures with rewards and traps on them, and you gotta face a boss that you have to defeat. But other than that, not much to talk about here. If you like exploration, enemies, and mining blocks, this is for you. It's not really bad, it's just average, maybe too much. So it's getting a B for blocks again. Now it's time to get spicy, because it's Fortnite time. Yes, you're probably wondering why Fortnite is here. That's because I realized that what the heck is happening on this platform. Fortnite, while primarily known for Battle Royale, has been expanding into more flexible game categories, and unfortunately, some of them took it directly from the Roblox playbook. There's a Steal a Brainrot game here, which is pretty much the same as the Roblox one, but it has a twist. You can literally XP farm by pressing every button, even if there are no Brainrots in there. Or how about this example, our favorite classic Roblox game, Flood Escape, now in Fortnite and with arguably better graphics. If parkour is your style, you can do that too, but it suffers from the same strange physics that literally gives me a skill issue. Or Steal a Labubu, a truly peak masterpiece that everyone should play ever. Not to mention many 99 Nights in the Forest clones. I think this gets an A for at least it's okay, just because Fortnite is already quite an established platform and there's a bit of everything for everyone. Now we're at Core, and this is a really weird game. Imagine Rec Room but with way fewer players. This is what you get. They also got a clanker in the Avatars collection, so the games are pretty much Roblox coded, like, yeah, Balloon Simulator, yep, I'm playing that one. And it was pretty boring. I've seen Roblox simulators do way better than this. They also have obbies and wow, okay, I think the physics is also pretty weird on this one. I was failing on supposedly simple jumps. They also have a cookie game thing and like, just look at this one. Amazing system. This gets a C for can't say it's up there. Now this is where we actually find the Roblox clones rather than just alternatives, and this first one comes from BrickPlanet. Pretty much everything in here is something you would find on Roblox, but way more questionable. On the front page you are immediately greeted with 2 disaster games, a The Hood ripoff, and a speedrun game, though this realism test is interesting. A potential indicator for decent graphics, which I am excited about. And we can't forget everyone's favorite game, balls. Now keep in mind that this is my avatar. Unfortunately, when I joined in game, I was completely stripped. It also just looks like our little Loxy friend here is a little tilted. He can't stand up straight. The truss looks like someone literally melted them for cheese, and the physics are like, I don't know how to explain this, but see this FPS indicator? It is pretty smooth, but if you walk, you can see the animation is only updating 30 times a second, which looks really weird. Moving the camera is as slick as melted butter, but moving your avatar, back to the 2000s for you. Likewise, depending on where you died, you might have a circumstance of dying again after spawning, so they have the scariest game on BrickPlanet ever, which is very scary. I mean, look at this. Okay. Sonic. Wow. Oh. So many. What? What? Wow, so scary. Super peak. Now, the realism test was actually quite good, but I quickly figured out a funny anomaly. My shadow's direction is changing. This is not a real sun doing it, but they just put a light source above this particular spot where the shadow is smallest. They also got Speedrun 4 in here, which I'm kind of impressed is emulating the Roblox one, but it is a bit finicky and buggy that I wouldn't play it again. This leaves us with balls, because we all have funny humor, I guess. Now, I genuinely thought none of the games had music, but this one took 3 minutes to load a track, which caught me off guard. The entire platform is pretty much a visit once, never play again type of situation. That makes me sad, and I will have to insert it in D tier for disappointing. Moving into Bopimo, which has bop in the game, meaning it has to be good, is a very fascinating thing in that it's not really a Roblox clone. This is pretty much inspired by Super Mario 64. Bopimo will be something you like if you play a lot of obby/platformer games, but I will warn you, the controls are not for beginners, and that's coming from a Flood Escape 2 player, a game that already has quite a few mechanics that most Roblox platformer games do not have. Unlike pretty much everything we've seen today, Bopimo doesn't have games, but levels. Different flavors of platformer, with niche references that only joining their Weird A Discord server will give you. Zero playing. If you can tell, this seems to be a pretty common problem with almost everything we've talked about today. Nobody's really playing them. Now, another strange decision, the tutorial level is laggy. I'm curious what they had to put in this that you need a chonker for it to run, but it is what it is, and to think that the tutorial level really should have been the smoothest because this is the first impression of most players. And if the tutorial level is laggy, they'll assume everything else will lag too. In fairness to them, it has everything in it, but get ready to spend 30 minutes to be familiar with all of them, and missing at least one mechanic will cause you to go to Doma's Loaf Hell. Oh, and get ready for veterans to join you too, as they tend to help you with the mechanics, at least just a little bit. Combine that with a pretty silly goober character, and I will give this an A for a very cute thing. It's the most unique platform we've seen so far. It's missing out on S tier just because of problems I mentioned, and also I don't really recommend it to anyone who struggles with parkour. But you could play Dropper if you want to. Now Hiberworld is our next one, and it's a doozy. It's very weird, like a mobile game with little budget, with strange rip-offs of games you may recognize. But some eye-catching things are going on here too. Judge for yourself how good I am at typing random letters. T. Oh, it's like this.
What is that?
Oh no. This is like, oh no. It's like one of those typing tests, but it's just one letter. If you like Minion Rush, then this Robo-Run game will keep you busy for a moment. Oh, what? Or how about Angry Birds? But the birds became pigs, and the pigs became birds. Piggy Launcher. But this one isn't good at all. It starts lagging even worse than Bopimo's tutorial level, and like, it has barely anything in it even. Now one weird thing about this is the comments. They genuinely all look like they were written by bots or 11-year-olds. But then I was surprised by this one. Some games are full-fledged 3D games that you can run on your browser. They look an awful lot like Fortnite, however it came with its own set of uniqueness. Some games are also straight up garbage, if you can even call them games at all. Look at Among Us Hide and Seek, which does not have Among Us and does not have Hide and Seek. Does make for a cool playground though. They do have some shooters, but at this point just play Fortnite. Can you even tell the difference? The physics are slightly better, which makes this a bit more viable for parkour compared to like core. The downside is that pretty much everything in here is a combination of Roblox and Fortnite, but worse. I mean, this is not how you play Flappy Bird, silly man. C tier for could be better. Today's last game is Polytoria. Much like BrickPlanet, it strives to be quite Robloxy, but wow, does this look much better in everything than that, although not quite Roblox level. Many of their games resemble more of an old-style Roblox game, like McDonald's Tycoon, and they also have Flood Escape. It actually looks like this is the only one today where there is a bit more programming going on, making it very close to a clone status. There's still a Brainrot clone is a bit broken.
Why do you keep
I am evil. Their disaster game is pretty much empty too. I could have expected a bit more design going on, but much like Bopimo, there are many interesting things to explore here. Showcase games, admin games with half the functionality of Roblox admin games, a peak ripoff, and many more genres. Again, it's missing out on S tier, so it's going on A for... Oh my goodness, I'm running out of like descriptions. Huh, and that's it. So no one made it to the S tier. Well, there is one, but it's something you may not expect. But first, I want to award the top 3. I'm giving first place to Polytoria. It's pretty much the closest to Roblox and is quite polished. Quite. Second is Bopimo. You will definitely love this if you like Super Mario 64 or the clones of such in Roblox. Third is Fortnite. Surprisingly, yes, it's not really that bad. Just remember not to give it too much tryhardness. Alongside Garry's mod, these 4 will be picked for an upcoming deep dive starting in November and continuing until December. Okay, so what was the S tier option? Don't look for a Roblox alternative. Well, this was a very different video. I hope you enjoyed it.